Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining us for another story here at Annie Narrates. The title for this story goes like this. New Stepsis confides big secret about stepmom to me, and I go to the cops hoping to ruin their marriage, but stepmom and sis show up and thank me for my good work. Because my stepmom Angela, 57 female, and my dad Mike, 59 male, got married 3 years ago. Their wedding was a big deal and super exciting. Angela and dad actually met at a friend's party, and it felt like destiny brought them together. They instantly connected, laughing and chatting all night, and that's where their love story began. After that party, they started dating. Their dating journey was filled with movie nights, dinners, and a lot of fun. Dad would often tell me stories about their dates, and it sounded like they really enjoyed each other's company. It wasn't always smooth sailing though. Like any relationship, they had their share of disagreements and ups and downs. One day, Dad decided to take things to the next level. He planned this super sweet proposal. Picture this: a cozy park, twinkling fairy lights, and a picnic basket filled with Angela's favorite snacks. He got down on one knee, held out a shiny ring, and asked her to be his forever. Angela was over the moon, and Dad was grinning from ear to ear. Fast forward to the wedding day. It was a magical celebration. Family and friends gathered to witness their love story turn into a lifelong commitment. I remember the vows. Angela promised to stand by Dad through thick and thin, and he promised to be her partner in crime forever. It was beautiful. However, I've always wondered if Angela truly loves Dad, or if it's just a show. Sometimes, it feels like we're distant, not really sharing that deep connection. It's not that we don't get along, it's just that we're not super close. But maybe that's okay. Every family is different, right? Despite my uncertainties, their marriage has been pretty good. They support each other's dreams and goals. Dad always says Angela is his biggest cheerleader, and she says the same about him. They celebrate their victories and comfort each other during tough times. I guess that's what love is. Not always flashy, but reliable and strong. They've built a home together, filled with laughter and the smell of Dad's famous pancakes on Sunday mornings. Angela's quirky sense of humor blends with Dad's calm demeanor, creating a unique harmony. So even though I, 29 female, sometimes question Angela's feelings, deep down I see the love. It might not be like in the movies, but it's real and steady. My dad is like a real estate wizard. He owns many properties all over the city, and it's pretty cool. You know, houses, apartments, and stuff. It's like he's the king of buildings. He's got different revenue streams, not just from the properties, but from other things too. Angela used to be a restaurant manager, but then a few weeks before they got married, she quit her job. That's when things got a bit curious for me. I mean, leaving your job just before getting married? It made me wonder, you know. One thing about Angela that always get me thinking is her spending habit. Seriously, it's like she's on a shopping spree every other week. New clothes, fancy bags, and who knows what else. It's like she's in a race with the fashion world, trying to keep up. Now, I've never poked my nose into it because I believe in minding my own business, especially when it comes to family matters. If my dad's cool with it, then it's his call, right? Yet Dad doesn't seem bothered by it. Maybe he sees something I don't. I've heard them talk about budgets and stuff, so maybe there's a plan in place. Who am I to judge? However, my stepsister Rachel is like the coolest person ever. Seriously, we're tight, like peanut butter and jelly. Over the years, we've built this super strong bond that's unbreakable. Rachel and I, we're like partners in crime. We share secrets, laugh at the silliest things, and have inside jokes that make no sense to anyone else. She's my go-to person when I need advice or just someone to chat with. It's like having a built-in friend who understands you no matter what. She's all set to step into adulthood, and it's exciting to see her grow. We talk about her plans, dreams, and the adventures she wants to take on. It's like being a part of her journey, cheering her on from the sidelines. Now, I'm working as a resident at a big hospital nearby. It's not always easy with long shifts and all, but whenever I get a chance, I swing back home to catch up with my dad and Rachel. Family time is like recharging my batteries. It gives me that extra boost. When I do manage to snag some free time, Rachel and I have our favorite things to do together. We're both into movies, especially those cheesy ones that make you laugh and cry at the same time. It's like our little tradition, movie nights with popcorn and all the comfy blankets we can find. We also share a love for trying out new recipes. Cooking up a storm in the kitchen is our thing. Sometimes it is a success, and sometimes it's a hilarious disaster. But we enjoy every moment. It's like our own mini cooking show, complete with laughter and maybe a little too much flour on the counter. There's something special about having a stepsister who's not just family, but a true friend. We've got each other's backs and it makes our family bond even stronger. Around 2 months ago, Angela's brother Brad, male 54, moved in on my dad's home. It was kind of out of the blue. It turns out he hit a rough patch, spent all his money on some get-rich-quick thing that totally backfired. Dad, being the generous dude he is, let Brad crash at our place until he could figure things out. But let me tell you, it's been a bit weird ever since. Brad, he's a bit of a shady character. I mean, I don't want to be judgy, but he gives off this vibe, you know. You can't quite put your finger on it, but something's off. He's always got this sly smile, and you wonder what he's cooking up in that brain of his. I've heard some stories about his so-called business ventures, and they sound more like schemes than actual plans. Now, since he's moved in, I've noticed that he spends most of his time on the couch. It's not like he's actively trying to get back on his feet, more like he's waiting for life to hand him a golden ticket. I've seen him binge watching shows and chilling like he's on a never-ending vacation. It's hard not to feel a bit uneasy when Brad's around. There's this tension in the air, like you're waiting for something to happen. I try not to judge people, but he's got this mysterious aura that makes you wonder what's really going on behind those eyes. I've overheard some hushed conversations between Dad and Angela about Brad's situation. Apparently, they're trying to help him find a job and get back on track. I guess that's cool, but it doesn't change the fact that his presence adds a layer of awkwardness to the household. Despite the weird vibes, I remind myself not to jump to conclusions. Maybe Brad is genuinely going through a tough time, and we just don't see it. But there's this nagging feeling that he's not exactly putting in the effort to turn things around. A few days ago, I was chilling at home on my day off when my sister Rachel called me into her room all serious-like. I could tell something was up, cause she'd had this worried look on her face. I was like, "What's going on, Rach?" She looked kinda uncomfortable and told me she found a cut-up credit card in the trash, and got this, it had her name on it. Imagine the confusion. Rachel never even had a credit card, so it was like, where in the world did this come from? She showed me the pieces. I could see the stress on her face, like she was trying to figure out this mystery. It's not every day that you find your name on a shredded credit card you never even owned. We sat down, and she was all jittery, wondering if someone was messing with her, or if there was some crazy mix-up. Rachel was trying to wrap her head around it, and I could see that she was pretty uncomfortable about the whole thing. Like, who wouldn't be? We brainstormed about what could have happened, but nothing made sense. I tried to reassure her, saying that we would figure it out together. As we were trying to put the puzzle pieces together, Rachel dropped a bombshell on me. She suspected our stepmom, Angela, might be involved in this whole credit card drama. I was like, whoa, hold up. Why would you think that? Rachel went on to spill some tea about Angela's shady past. Before Angela got hitched with our dad, Rachel claimed she was running different kinds of scams. I was shocked. I mean, I never really liked Angela, but I never accepted this from her. Rachel said that she used to do all these little scams, like pretending to sell rare items online and then ghosting people after taking their money. It sounded like some sneaky stuff you'd see in a movie. Rachel even shared that Angela had this fake charity thing going on, where she would ask for donations for made-up causes. It was like a whole web of deception. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. We were talking about our stepmom here. I told Rachel we needed to be sure before making such a big accusation. Accusing someone of a scam like this is serious business, you know. We needed evidence or something concrete. It's not cool to point fingers without knowing the whole story. As we dug deeper into Angela's past, Rachel revealed that her childhood was kinda affected by these shenanigans. Angela's scams weren't just distant memories. They left a mark on Rachel. She shared stories of times when Angela's schemes messed with her family's stability. Like, imagine growing up with someone pulling these tricks. It's not the ideal childhood for sure. Rachel also remembered times when they had to move around a lot, and Angela would always have these sketchy stories about why they had to pack up and leave. It was like living in a world of uncertainty. Rachel felt the impact of these scams on her life, and it explained why she was so on the edge about the whole credit card thing. Alright, so after Rachel dropped the bomb about suspecting Angela, we went into detective mode. First thing, we got our hands on the credit reports, but it was like decoding an alien language. We couldn't figure out the account. Then, a light bulb moment. We managed to snag the credit card statement from the company. We reported the fraudulent credit card to the bank, and after a few calls and proving the identification of Rachel, we were able to get the transaction history. Now, mind you, we weren't pros at this stuff, but we were trying our best to play detective. The statement was like a map of mystery purchases, and we didn't know much about the jargon, but we saw the names of shops where the card was used. Here's the kicker. One of the shops was a women's clothing store right in our neighborhood. Ding ding, that hit me like a ton of bricks. I recognized that place. It was the same shop I'd seen Angela dragging Dad into a few times. My mind immediately went, oh no, Angela, what have you done? Now, we were faced with a big decision. What to do next? It felt like we were in a suspense movie, and the plot was getting thicker by the minute. I mean, Angela might be up to no good, using Rachel's name for who knows what. We couldn't just sit back and let it slide. My next move? I thought about going to the police. I mean, it seemed like the right thing to do. If Angela was really pulling some credit card shenanigans, we needed the law on our side. Plus, I didn't want her messing with Dad's life anymore. He deserved better. I had this feeling that Angela might be up to some tricky stuff, like taking credit cards in my stepsis' name. Definitely not okay and against the law. I figured I need to report this to the police, so I stroll into the police station, ready to share my big discovery. But wait, who shows up? Angela and Rachel. They're all, thanks for your good work. Hold on, isn't this supposed to be a serious matter? Rachel hadn't spilled the beans to Angela until she caught wind of my plan to visit the police. She got worried that Angela might end up in jail, so at the last minute, she spilled everything to Angela about what she had told me. Rachel and Angela convinced me that filing a police complaint might not be the best move. They're weaving this whole web of family talk and convincing me to back down. So eventually, I left the police station without making a big report. It's like I'm caught in the middle of a family drama, unsure of what's right. Rachel and Angela convinced me that sorting things within the family might be a better idea. I straight up asked Angela if she was the one behind the credit card mystery. Now brace yourself, cause things got really tense. Angela looked me in the eyes and said, "Nope, not me. I didn't create any cards in Rachel's name." But here's the kicker. The credit card was found right in our house, so I told her, "I'm not buying it. We found the card here, Angela." She hit me with this whole, "Even though you're doing a good job caring about Rachel, this is none of your business." I mean, excuse me? None of my business? It involves my stepsis, our house, and some shady credit card business. How is that not my business? Even Rachel jumped in and told me to let it go. She said poking around more would just harm the family. I get that she doesn't want chaos, but Angela might be doing something seriously wrong here. I care so much about Rachel, and Angela, I'm not a fan anymore, that's for sure. Now I'm standing at this crossroads, not sure what to do. Angela says it's not her, but the evidence says otherwise. Rachel wants me to back off, but it feels like turning a blind eye to something fishy happening right under our noses. I'm torn, stuck between caring for my stepsis and wanting to get to the bottom of this mystery. I hate feeling like I'm in the dark about what's really going on. Should I keep digging, uncover the truth, and maybe help Rachel? Or should I listen to Rachel and Angela, back off, and let the chips fall where they may? I'm open to suggestions here. What would you do in my shoes? Let me know your thoughts on this roller coaster of a situation. Hey everyone, thanks a bunch for all your suggestions. So guess what? I took your advice and decided to dig deeper into this whole credit card mystery. I wasn't getting much out of Rachel, so I went straight to the source, Angela. I kept pestering her with questions, but she was tight-lipped, not spilling the beans on what's really going on. Frustration levels were hitting the roof, and I was like, alright Angela, we need to talk. I wanted the truth. No more playing games. I straight up told her, if you don't spill the beans, Angela, I'm marching to Dad and telling him everything. He'll sort this mess out. It was like a game of truth or consequences, and I wasn't planning on backing down. Angela got this scared look on her face. It was like the realization hit her that her secrets were about to be out in the open. After some back and forth, she finally cracked. It wasn't her. It was her brother, Brad, who pulled off the credit card stunt. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this family saga just took another twist. It turns out, when Brad landed at our doorstep, he made a real sneaky move. The first thing he did? He took out a credit card in Rachel's name. Yeah, you heard it right under our roof. Angela found out about Brad's little scheme and didn't waste a second. She took that credit card and sliced it up. Now, when I got wind of this, I was beyond mad. I mean, seriously? This guy waltzes into my dad's home and thinks he can mess with our lives like that? So there I am, fuming, and I tell Angela straight up, either your brother's out of here or I'm spilling the beans to Dad or the police. Angela hits me with a newsflash. She can't kick Brad out. What? Are you kidding me? I didn't care about their brother-sister bond at that moment. As far as I was concerned, having Brad around meant none of us were safe. I wanted him gone, and I wanted it yesterday. Angela started talking about her relationship with her brother. They've been there for each other through thick and thin, like partners in crime but without the crime part. Until now. I get it. Family bonds can be strong. Angela probably felt torn between her loyalty to her brother and the chaos he was causing in our lives. But here's the deal. Loyalty doesn't excuse wrongdoing. Angela needed to see that having Brad under our roof was like inviting trouble to dinner. I didn't care how close they were. My priority was our safety and well-being. It's like a storm brewing in the family, and I'm standing there, demanding some kind of justice. Angela had to make a choice. Stand by her brother or stand by her family. Tough call, right? I noticed Angela's face going all pale, like she just saw a ghost. I could practically smell the fear in her. Now, despite all the frustration and anger, a tiny bit of me still cared. So, I swallowed my feelings and asked her straight up if something was seriously wrong. Guess what she says? No trouble, just need a few days to fix everything. Okay, fair enough, right? But the very next time I walked through that front door, who do I see? Brad, chilling on the couch, sipping a cold one. Oh, I was beyond mad at this point. No time to waste. I stormed straight into my dad's and Angela's rooms. No glances at Angela, no beating around the bush. I spilled a whole tea on my dad. Everything that went down, from the credit card mess to Brad casually hanging out like it's a weekend chill session. Let me tell you, it felt like a showdown in an old Western movie. I needed my dad to know what was happening under his own roof. It's like I had a front row ticket to a family drama, and I wasn't holding back any details. Now, Angela must have felt the heat, cause there I was, putting it all out there. I didn't care about her scared face anymore. The truth needed to come out. I told my dad about Angela's promises to fix things, but instead, Brad's just lounging around, acting like he owns the place. It was time for my dad to step in and take charge. After I spilled the beans to my dad about Brad's credit card stunt, he was beyond shocked. The guy demanded answers, and Angela had to face the music. Angela, in her defense, said Brad is her brother, and she couldn't just toss him out like yesterday's trash. But my dad, oh boy, he wasn't having any of it. He stormed downstairs, straight to where Brad was probably enjoying his casual evening. My dad didn't play nice. He grabbed Brad by the throat, giving him a piece of his mind. He told Brad to pack his things and hit the road. No messing around. It was like a scene from an action movie, but right there in our living room. Brad, probably feeling the pressure, tried to deny it at first. You know, the classic "it wasn't me" routine. But when push came to shove, he spilled the beans. He said he'd leave, but not without a parting threat. He'd make sure Angela suffered for this. That night was probably one of the scariest in my life. Tension was high, voices were raised, and I was caught in the middle of this family storm. But you know what? I am relieved it's over. Dad laid down the law, showed Brad the exit, and made it crystal clear that messing with his loved ones was a big no-no. It was a chaotic night, but in the end, our house felt a little less tense. So when Brad said he would make sure that Angela suffered from this, he had a plan. Yesterday, I came home straight from the hospital and was getting ready for dinner. When I went downstairs, my dad told me that he wanted to talk to me. He said that, given everything that has happened, it is time that I knew about Angela's past. Before meeting my dad, Angela had a hard life. She was having trouble making ends meet. During this troubling time, Brad, Angela's brother, got her involved in a mail fraud scheme. Since then, he has been holding this over her head. This is also why Angela couldn't kick Brad out of the house. For now, they have given him some money to shut him up, but they're looking to find a legal solution to this problem. And for now, they would appreciate my support in this. Rachel is about to start college, and they don't want her to have any trouble. I don't know how I feel about this, but I trust my dad, and I'm going to follow his lead on this one. I have a big update for you guys. Well, it turns out that Angela is a big fat liar. You remember how I told you guys that poor Angela got roped into a fraud scheme by her brother? The truth is far from that. All hell broke loose when the two cops in uniform came to our door and asked for Angela, and I mean, the blood just drained from my face. They said Brad was in custody and she was being named as an accomplice. I swear the world just spun for a second. Angela, all pale and shaky, came into the hallway, and the next thing you know, they're reading her rights and cuffing her. Honestly, it felt like a bad movie scene. Dad went into full protective mode, arguing with the cops, demanding proof, the whole works. It wasn't getting us anywhere. The cops wouldn't back down, and Angela was getting away right in front of us. It was surreal and scary and humiliating, all rolled into one. It turns out that Brad had been caught, and he named Angela as the co-conspirator in all his schemes. She actively assisted Brad in manipulating financial records, forging signatures, and facilitating fraudulent transactions. She was involved in everything, including falsifying invoices, creating fake accounts, and siphoning funds from legitimate sources. It is still hard to believe that my dad hadn't noticed some red flags along the way, especially if the fraud was significant enough to warrant police attention. At first, my dad didn't believe any of it and thought that Brad was lying to get back at Angela. But apparently, he has submitted proof of her involvement. Angela was arrested by the police, and Dad had to bail her out. We don't know what's going to happen now, but we are hiring lawyers. Dad is really pissed at Angela, but he wants to make sure that she has the best help. I talked to Rachel and asked her how she was dealing with this stuff. I don't have time to visit her in college, but I stay in touch with her over the phone. I hope everything is sorted out soon. It's been a few weeks since the last update, and well, there was no trial, as Angela cut a deal and was given community service of 500 hours and had to pay some fine. I don't know the exact amount, which obviously my dad paid. Things between my dad and her are difficult. He's still mad at her for not being honest about her past. I hardly ever talk to her. Even when I visit my dad, I hardly say more than 10 words to her. I still have a good relationship with Rachel, and I intend to make sure that it stays the same. Thank you all for your support. And that was it for today's story. Thank you very much for listening. Smash that like button and subscribe for more stories. Thanks again. We'll be seeing you in the next one.